Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a leather element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. So let's take a look at our poly back dies. For our smaller production shops, or for us crafters, if we're starting to sell some work, these can be an absolute game changer. They're a little bit less expensive than the steel wool dies. In fact, they're a little bit faster for us to make at Weaver. But here's the thing I like the most. We don't have to have design software to submit a design. We can simply send in a drawing. In fact, that's exactly what I've done. So let's take a look at that first. I'd like to toss this out front because I do get the feeling from the folks in the die shop that they would prefer we submit our designs digitally, but we don't have to. In fact, this is just a pen drawing. So what I've got here, this is our luggage tag. We've done a video on these. So on this, we've got a face with a cutout, the window, and then we've got a backing. So on my design, I've drawn out the face, the outside dimensions, and then our window. My thought being, for each luggage tag, I'll punch 2 of these, I'll take 1 of these, and then lay that window in and punch the window. Well, when I submitted this, Weaver, being Weaver, they came back and said, we think there's a better way to do this. We've got to make 2 dies anyway, so let's make one with the face and the cutout, and then the backing. Therefore, I don't have to punch 2. Take 1 of those, then try to lay that window in, try to get it square. 2 punches, we're done. So right here, I've got an ink drawing, simply drew this out with my dimensions, took a picture of this and submitted it, and we've got 2 beautiful dies. Now, we can absolutely add oblongs or round holes, and in fact, we've got stock dies ready to go. We can simply order these straight from the website. In fact, that's a luggage tag, and that's a fold-over key fob. Now, on this die, I didn't add the oblong simply because sometimes I want to just punch a hole there, maybe add a piece of lace, ball chain, or sometimes we can actually go with a billet. So let's take these over to our clicker and see how these look. Spoiler alert, we've got a sales pitch coming, but it's a valid point because this is our 4-ton clicker, the Mighty Wonder. It's a smaller clicker, basically a tabletop. So for small production shops and for us crafters, if we need to start speeding up the process, this is the perfect way to go. And one more point on this, these are made on site at Weaver. And we don't just buy the parts and put them together, we make the parts as well. So this is one of those tools we're going to buy once. Now, on our dies, these are not made for smaller pieces and parts. These will cut just about any size panel that we can get on the bed of our clicker. But I would say these are for lighter weight leathers, say 6 to 7 ounce and down. They'll definitely punch 8 to 9 ounce, but if we're going to go with heavier weights or more production, we'll talk about that in just a minute. So right here, I've got a piece of leather. This is our fire veg, and I've blocked this, meaning I've cut this piece out to where it will take 2 punches with as little waste as possible. So let's start right here. Yeah, how easy was that? And there we go. We've got our face. How easy is that? And consistent too. That's one of the things this is going to do for us. So let's punch this other piece. And another good punch. One of the best things here, everything we do is going to be perfectly consistent. Those are going to fit together nicely. Now, I mentioned heavier weights. Well, we can certainly do some 8 to 9, 9 to 10 with this if it's just once in a while. For production, I would certainly say let's go with our steel rule dies. And in fact, we can make just about any design. I asked the folks in the die shop if they could make, the classic opera mask, because I use this in my wet forming classes. No issue there. That is a complicated die. Now, one downside here, this absolutely makes everything faster, but with our steel roll dies, we can actually group those much closer together to where we can make 3 pieces all with 1 punch. On this, we've just got a little extra room there, so that we can't really group those together, but that's there just for stability. But speed, consistency, no better way to go. For us crafters, a clicker is a little higher ticket item, but I have to say this, and I'm almost embarrassed to say this, I never knew how much a clicker would do for me until I actually brought one into my shop. And then add inexpensive yet easy to design dies, well, that's just a perfect situation. Now, if you're on the fence about a clicker, well, primary job here, cutting out designs. We've seen that. But we also have a great video on using a clicker to impress designs into our leather. Very nice touch. So I hope this is good information for you. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.